meet my bride. Let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. Now, in the 1890s, Americans caught the car bug, and by 1899, there were over 100 motor vehicle manufacturers in the USA. Some of these early makers endured into the 20th century, and a few even into the 21st, Oldsmobile being a prominent example. Yet only one American car maker from the 1890s still exists today, and also still makes motor vehicles, though they long ago switched to trucks. This American company is the oldest surviving motor vehicle manufacturer in the Western Hemisphere, and it was founded by Louis Semple Clarke. Louis was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1866 into a wealthy and influential family. The Clarkes owned and operated a large fleet of steamboats that moved passengers and cargo along the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. Young Louis found his life passions early in both engineering and photography. He was gifted in both disciplines, and living amongst the wealthiest people in America at the time, he had plenty of opportunities to explore and study them. His most well-known haunt was the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, which at the time was the most exclusive sporting club in Pennsylvania, with members like Carnegie's and Vanderbilt's. The Clarkes were, of course, included in such circles, and Louis used the facility to develop both his engineering and photography skills. On the engineering side, the lake provided for boating, where he would design and build his own electric-powered catamaran, which the locals nicknamed Sparky. It sported 2 pontoons, a searchlight at the bow, and enough battery power to cruise about 2 knots for several hours. He also built his own camera and began a significant photo journal of the goings-on around the club. He started shutterbugging the place around 1883, and many, if not hundreds, of these photos survive to this day. Most are kept in trust through the Johnstown Area Heritage Association and can be viewed online. Link in the description below. These pictures are significant in U.S. history, as they are the only photojournal in existence that shows the club before and after the Great Johnstown Flood of 1889, which at that time was the biggest man-made disaster in U.S. history, claiming over 2,000 lives. By the age of 25, he had his engineering degree and was looking for opportunities. He traveled abroad in 1895, where in France he saw some of the early Peugeot, Daimler, and Didion Bouton cars. Being born into a family that moved people and cargo as their main occupation, these cars energized him. And so Louis Clarke came home and decided to get into the car business. The first thing he did was design and patent a new spark plug, his with a ceramic insulator, in 1896. While doing this, he and his brother Charles built a motor vehicle, a 3-wheeled single-cylinder vehicle, which they christened Autocar No. 1. A side note, this car can be found today at the Smithsonian Institution. Anywho, the following year, Clarke founded with his brother a new business, the Pittsburgh Motor Vehicle Company. And for the first couple of years, Louis experimented with different automotive ideas, making several prototypes to see what worked best in his view. The first production models became available in 1899. At the same time, Louis renamed the company to Autocar Company, Inc. These first cars were typical runabouts with tiller steering, sporting a single-cylinder underseat engine of about 4 horsepower and a 2-speed transmission with final drive by chains. However, he offered these with another body style, a small utility bed at the rear, a light pickup truck. True, he wasn't the first to make such a vehicle. Alexander Winton had built one as an errand truck to use at the factory, but it was Louis Clarke and Autocar that first offered a pickup truck for general sale to the United States of America. The following year, Autocar upgraded engines to a flat twin-cylinder of 6 horses and a more Stanhope design, where the bench seat is center, a canopy can go over it, and the controls are on the dash. For 1901, Autocar would produce new models that would change the American automotive industry forever. Louis had been watching the advancements in car design happening in Europe, and in particular France. Armed with this information, he redesigned his car for the roads, or lack thereof, found in the USA. This resulted in what he called the high-powered touring carriage. Oh yeah, that's an American name. This car was the first ever to be produced with a steering wheel on the left-hand side of the car, where all Americans drive from today. Additionally, this was the first car built in the U.S. with a drive shaft instead of chain drive, borrowing from the innovations made in France by Renault. It was front-engined with a twin-cylinder engine putting out about 18 horsepower. These were rugged vehicles that could take whatever punishment the terrain forced on them. And at the same time, he made trucks. Small ones at first, but they also grew in power, performance, and in Louis' mind, importance. The United States at the turn of the 20th century needed vehicles that could transport anything, anywhere, across whatever. And by 1911, Autocar would only make commercial and utility vehicles. Autocar as a company has gone through its own trials, being bought by White, then being brought into Volvo, breaking free and becoming completely independent again. And Autocar still builds motor vehicles to this day. They specialize in straight truck chassis for utility work, such as garbage trucks, cement trucks, tow trucks, and the like. The company, presently headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama, as opposed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is the oldest existing motor vehicle company in the entire New World. And it was founded by Louis Semple Clarke. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History, and we'll see you next week. Peace.